Hey, it's James Goll, and I want to give you a monthly word of exhortation. This is about the importance of worship, but it comes from a vision that I recently had. But before I jump into the vision, I want to give us a theme verse. It's the first time that worship is mentioned in the Bible, and you might be surprised where that comes from. It comes from the life of, I wonder who, Abraham, in Genesis chapter 22, verse 5, where it says, "And Abraham said to his young men, 'Stay here with the donkey.' The lad," now the lad, that is a reference to his son, "the lad and I will go yonder and worship, and we will come back to you." This is a profound statement. He's referring to his son of faith, Isaac. We will go yonder. That's going up to the Mount Moriah. He's also saying, and we will come back. Fascinating. Because he is told by the Lord to go offer his son as a sacrifice. But what he says is, we will go and worship. You know, the word worship actually means to bow down in our heart before God. And so the context of worship hasn't got a thing to do with instruments. In fact, the only instrument that maybe Abraham had was his son and maybe a knife. So there wasn't a guitar, there wasn't a harp, and there sure wasn't an electric synthesizer. But recently, I was given a vision while doing a seminar. And I was caught up for a moment, and I saw a hallway. I was standing at the end of the hallway, and there was all these open doors. It could have been like a business office, could have been like a hospital, but whatever. I was standing at the end, and there was this corridor of many doors. I was wondering, what is this? And then as I pondered and reflect upon this, a thought, a question came to me, and I go, what is this, Holy Spirit? And the illumination, revelation, inspired thought came to me. Worship God while in the hallway. That's my word of exhortation for us for this month. Worship God while in the hallway. Abraham, the first mention of worship in the entire Bible, is about sacrifice. Worship is always about a sacrifice. Now, when we are in a transition, there's often many options that are in front of us, and it can look confusing. I actually wrote about this in my book, Tell Your Heart to Sing Again, and I call it Worship God with Your Questions. Really? Worship God with your questions? You would want your questions answered, wouldn't you? Yes. But I have discovered that one of the best ways to get your questions answered is to entrust them to God in worship. Worship Him by trusting Him with your biggest and messiest questions. Tell Him you do not know the answers, but you know that He does. Tell Him you do not know the answers, but wait in full expectation for something good to come. He wants you to do this, whether you bring Him some big philosophical or religious question, or more than likely, some emotional, elating, practical question. Worship God with your questions, and worship God in the hallway of transitions. Worship God in the hallway.